shining on a glorious day. My name is Matt Craven. We are here at MSC Performance HQ, and I'm joined today by the legends, what are those heads called that are on the Mount Rushmore of the MSC Performance world, Mr. Mark Coulson and Sir Luke Rogers. How are we today?
Question one: who are your Mount Rushmore members of staff and members? I'm good. I'm really excited for this weekend. It's been a long 6 months. I think this has been like a real hectic year. It's been great. We've done some cool stuff, and now it all finishes this weekend. And going out of a bang, man. I'm buzzing for it. It's going to be a good Metcon Games. Going to be a good social. I'm buzzing for it.
Mate, super excited. We've been really busy lately, and I think there's been obviously a lot of events this summer. It's been amazing. Wouldn't change a thing. It's been a brilliant experience, and let's finish it up on Saturday with the big one, Metcon Games 10, eh?
I feel like it feels right, doesn't it, that you've had this huge run of charity events and you're finishing with the Metcon Games. That's been the staple of MSC. What year was it you first brought in Metcon Games?
That's a good question, actually.
Well, we've done 2 a year. This one 3.
Yeah.
So 5 years, 4.5 years ago, probably post-COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the first couple of years we probably just did 1 a year, and then we changed it to 2 a year. Would that be accurate? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, possibly.
Good little tradition.
We didn't necessarily plan it to be a biannual thing or a regular thing. I think we just did it as a one-off, didn't we? And then obviously we saw the success of it, and decided to run with it. And it's kind of, I'd say, the last 3 or 4 years it's been like the 2 a year, and it's been pretty consistent. So it's a nice way to finish. The series of charity events, and just kind of brings it all to a natural conclusion, really.
It's been incredible, and I think so. What we're going to talk about in this podcast, I'm going to kind of host, and I'm sure a lot of guys know, but it'd be quite nice to learn the process of MSC, with it being the 10-year anniversary. Just talk about how it all started, how you two fell in love, met each other, everything like that, and how you actually went into business together. So I think, firstly, how did it all start? Talk me, Mark, you can talk me through your side, and then Luke, you can talk me through your side, and then we can merge them all together. So
so I think, as with any sort of business idea, really, it's just something that you start thinking about in your head. You start getting pen to paper. I think I was doing my master's in strength conditioning at the time when I started thinking about what the next steps in my career were going to be. There were a couple of options. Like, one option would have been sort of going down the professional sport route and working with clubs. I was having a bit of a break from rugby at the time after a serious back injury, so I sort of threw myself. That's what made me do the masters, actually, was the fact that I wasn't playing and I had a bit of spare time, and I was, I just thought, let's further myself, in terms of education. So did that, and then that kind of set the precedence really for starting to think about what's next. And at the time I was working for KBT Education and a little bit for British Weightlifting as well, and with that was being a course tutor, so going and doing lectures, and then also delivering courses for personal trainers to get qualified in strength conditioning, to do strength conditioning CPD basically. And most of the work we did was with the military, but we also did some work with independent gyms that at the time were just starting to pop up. So this would be around sort of 2012, 2013. Obviously we opened in 2015, and I was starting to deliver these courses, and a lot of them were CrossFit gyms and things like that, and that just made me realise, this is a thing. People are opening up their own independent gyms. There are alternatives to, at the time I thought it was right, you work in health clubs or you go into professional sport.
What were the trendy gyms at the moment? Was it like Fitness First and stuff like that?
Fitness First was dying out, because when we were thinking about it, we were saying that the mid-tier gyms were going, and it was either your budget gyms, which were mad popular, so pure gyms were starting to come in, and then the alternative was the higher end gyms. But your middle £30 gyms were really, your Fitness First, were super dying out. Anytime Fitness, stuff like that was really dying out. It was either your high end, David Lloyd's, Bannatynes, or it was your absolute budget £15, £20 a month gyms.
How did that conversation come about? Because you two were both working at Bannatynes, weren't you?
So I think dropped down to, I was self-employed at this point at Bannatynes. I started off as an employee. I was then self-employed, and I was gradually cutting down my hours. I was doing a lot of work with KBT at the time. And yeah, as I say, like working out of those kind of facilities, I remember working out of a couple in Cardiff. There was one up in Leeds, I think, and I started speaking to the owners, and they're like, "Oh yeah, just like this is ours. We just set it up." And I was like, "Oh wow, okay, like this is a thing," and just loved the layout, loved the fact that they were like, you know, performance-based gyms, and obviously that kind of just gave the inspiration to think, right, this is actually a thing that's possible. Like there are other options apart from the health clubs that seem to be working. They seem to be, you know, starting to pop up, and then CrossFit started to get busier as well, which obviously our model isn't CrossFit, but like it showed that there was a space for performance-based, like you know, training. So yeah, that's kind of how we started, and then probably had a couple of conversations, I guess, in Bannatynes. I started just developing the idea, and kind of started there really. You were a bit apprehensive of coming over, I think, initially, weren't you?
I remember you always tell a funny story, don't you? I think your mum being like, "What, you're working at Bannatynes, and then you're going to go work with Mark?"
I think it was perfectly timed, because when I joined Bannatynes, I had like a sports studies degree, but I was very like, I played sports, but I just trained kind of like more bodybuilder style training. Didn't really fully understand the performance side of things, but I was like just getting into it. And then obviously started powerlifting in like 2011, 2012, which is probably about a year or two before Mark started to set up the gym. So it just timed perfectly that I was just dipping my toe into like powerlifting coaching. I had a couple of clients that were powerlifting, but just through Bannatynes, so like middle-aged or older guys that were like looking to do some powerlifting. So I was getting into it, and I was pretty successful as an athlete in powerlifting. So I think it was perfectly timed. If it was a year or two before, you would never have asked me to come over to be part of the performance gym. So I think from my end, it was perfectly timed that I was just getting into powerlifting. You were doing your strength and conditioning stuff, and it was just like it worked really well to have us both working side by side. You had the expertise with like team-based stuff, and I had more of an expertise with individuals, and it just kind of was perfectly timed. But yeah, I've told the story many times, but I told my mum that I was thinking about leaving Bannatynes to go and work for Mark, my mate Mark, and she's a little bit.
She was like,
she's a little bit risk averse. I think like most people that are a little bit older, a little bit more risk averse because they've gone through the harder times. So she's like, giving up a stable job working for Duncan. Everyone's heard of Duncan Bannatyne. No one's heard of Mark Coulson. I was like, whoa. But yeah, man, like you just gotta follow your gut, I guess. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous as well, obviously, but like, fucking hell, like, yeah.
What was the world like then, with regards to like?
Mate, we're not 80 years old. From World War II. You eating out of cans?
We were on rations for the first 3 weeks.
Mobile phones then. But what was the like? You talk about this whole thing of like the middle ground of gyms, of like having really, really good kit, everything like that. Obviously I was younger, so I think I was a member of a Fitness First then, but I didn't really, I don't know if it was because I was younger, I didn't really hear of any of the like strength and conditioning, like Olympic lifting, powerlifting gyms. So like, did you know a lot about that world? Were there a lot of other gyms like that dipping around? Or did you feel like
There's nothing in the West Midlands, was there?
No.
That's why there's the massive gap in the market for us to be it.
Yeah.
What I like about it, so I will like since we've set up that, I reckon within like 2-3 years, loads of these independent gyms set up, like Black Country Barbell, Wildcard Strength and Conditioning, all set up within 2 or 3 years. I'm not saying influenced by us, but like it was like everyone had the same kind of idea of setting up. There's definitely a gap for people that were trying to, because it was always very aesthetic based, wasn't it? You went to the gym to look a certain way, and then it kind of started to turn, actually I want to be healthy, I want to train for performance, and then there's like 5 gyms that set up within the next 2-3 years, all with very similar ethoses to ourselves.
I was a real performance nose at that point. Like I was doing my masters, and like I'd grown up playing sport, and I was more interested in sport than the gym, to be honest. I never really went through that young bodybuilder phase. Like I just wasn't that bothered. I got into the gym through sport, of like, okay, the gym can improve your sporting performance, and then started to go down that route. And I think doing delivering the courses with KBT, like just learned so much. Masters obviously like alongside that, and I was just like all in with like, Olympic lifting, which was like real craze at the time, like S&C, a bit of powerlifting I guess as well. And I was just getting frustrated, like in Bannatynes, thinking, well, I know this is the best way to train, is train for performance, because I know like you can train performance. We want, surely you want to be able to, like, because I love playing sport, I was like, surely you want to be athletic, like that's the main purpose of training. And like all good athletes, not all good athletes, but like good athletes look good as well. So like, yeah, of course I want to look good, but I can do that as a byproduct of being strong, fast, explosive. Like that was always like the mindset. But then I was getting frustrated because I'm trying to like snatch in Ballantines and trying to push I bought a sledge, I bought a prowler like back in 2012 or something like that, and there's a corridor in Ballantines, like, and I just used to like, you know, where people would walk up and down to get to the gym, and I'd be like, I think my clients just burning through, pushing a prowler up and down this fucking thing.
I think about this a lot though. There's like this Ballantines must have been like a massive outlier, because I was powerlifting, so when I sat there I was in, me and John was also a powerlifter. I don't know how, like, we must have, like, law of attraction, we just got people training a little bit better. So on a Saturday I'd be squatting like 200 plus in Ballantines, the music's quiet, everyone else is just relaxing, Mark's trying to snatch in the corner with Sue, someone's pushing the sledge down. Like you said, honestly mate, there was no wiggle room on this sledge. Like, I can't tell, if the prowler was 50 centimetres, the corridor was 55. Like if you went, because you'd whack the spin bike every so often, you just slightly deviate slightly off and whack a spin bike.
Strudder's knocked over the water fountain and completely broke it, smashed it into pieces. I remember just picking it up and like trying to put it back together, but I was like, it doesn't matter, this go. I was so passionate like about like coaching and training that way.
We used to do this one little circuit, didn't we? We used to train together once a week for conditioning. It was like we used to 30 on, 45 off of like some kettlebell. You were heavy on the kettlebell work. We do the kettlebells. Then it was into the sledge, and that's where we got the prowler drops. And but we were trying to do the prowler drops, like pushing it away down this little corridor. It was.
I bet it
was a nightmare. Yeah, we had the right ideas, and we were training hard, and it was class, but like just wasn't obviously the right gym.
Yeah,
and you were just waiting for this.
We grew out of it, didn't we? I think eventually, and like the excitement of having a warehouse, a facility where you could do what you wanted and like throw weights around and have a track and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, alongside what I was doing education wise, I was mad into like, you know, watching YouTube. Funny enough, like YouTube's obviously had like it was YouTube was like around back then, and then I felt like it just died completely, and it's just made a massive comeback, hasn't it? But like at the time I was like watching a lot of US college performance gyms that were popping up, and again that was further giving the inspiration for doing it, really, like the way they were laid out, how professional everything was, how you'd be able to like sprint in the gym, do your ollie lifts, do stuff overhead, drop the weights, like that. I was just I was just spending any spare time I had, I was just nosing on YouTube watching like Denver college like S&C work online and stuff like that, and tried to kind of model the layout of the gym based on that, a very financially poorer version, obviously, because these US
very American as you come in here.
Like we wanted like the lines, everything set up like professional, like, you know, track conditioning, you know, squat, deadlift, bench, you know, ollie lifts, and we kind of got to that eventually, but obviously not as much cash as American colleges have to throw in. But
what I like, coming from, obviously I haven't been there the whole time since you've done it, is that obviously you had that dream of being in Ballantines. You probably had like average kit 5 out of 10, whatever. A lot of people who go and set up their own gyms, they're like, right, I want to be a little bit better than the Ballantines, so they go for like the 7, 8 out of 10 with regards to getting kit. But I feel like you guys have always been very, no, we want to make sure we have the best bars, the best plates, the best platforms, all that kind of stuff, which has been really nice, that you'll always hang yourself on getting that kind of stuff, which has stayed throughout. You always make sure you've got the Alico bars, you've got the Titex bars, you've got everything that will suit the athletes that come in. And obviously people don't appreciate it who are just Gen Pop kind of people, but when someone does come through the door who is,
if you know, it'd be like,
oh my god, all those Alico bars or all those powerlifting bars, that's amazing, where I can't find that anywhere else, all in the same facility. Like normally it's either or, isn't it, that you'll have a gym that's all powerlifting through and through, or all Olympic lifting through and through. It's very rare that it's all together, plus the performance side of things of the S&C kit, which is quite nice to see.
I think we've done good at adding, as we've gone along, and adding good quality bits. But mate, some of the stuff's original from like 10 years old, and you think like it says it's not going to last that long, and like, mate, the hamstring curl, the leg press, the reverse hyper, they're 10 years old, man. What's the powerlifting bars that we've got? The Texas Power Bars, the Alico bars are pretty much 10 years old. Mate, they've lasted so well. Like, I think that's a credit to the members, like, not being idiots with them. Like, as soon as someone does a rat pulls on a bar, it's dead. But like every single bar in this gym is still dead straight because no one's stupid with it. We obviously try and maintain it as best as we can. But yeah, man, that's you buy the good stuff. Those Alico bars, like in 20, 30 years,
and they survived the Indian weightlifting team as well.
They've been through the mill. I remember on day one, Cyril coming down and jerking 180 off the blocks, and I was like, please be like, I had no worries about the bar, but like I think we had we still got them actually, so I can't take the piss that much because they're still kind of
they've been hanging on for about
Jordan had like a Alico bar like 180 overhead onto the Jordan blocks, but the Alico bars were. I think they were the first bits of kit we bought, the weightlifting bars, and I bought that off the back of doing a KBT course, and the guy there, I don't know how we got onto the subject, but he was like, I was working at the London 2012 in the training hall, so he'd volunteered in the training hall, and in the training hall at the Olympics, they just fucking leave like all the stash, and everyone just fucking takes it, basically. So he had like 3 or 4. Basically those bars that we've got there, Alico weightlifting bars.
Wow.
So this is before we opened, so I remember like I got his details and stuff, came back to Birmingham, was working, and he was like, still interested in those bars. I was like, yeah, definitely. Sorted out a price for them, and then I remember driving down, this is like probably a year or 6 months before we opened, to go and buy these Alico bars, chuck them in my car in London. So I drove down to London, picked up these Alico bars, and bring them back. So yeah, they were like the first bits of kit we actually got. But
mate, on that same vein, the powerlifting bar that I've got was from another link that we had from the 2015 Rugby World Cup. Was that in England?
Yeah.
So again, we got this message saying, they bought the USA rugby team, bought all this kit. They're now just selling it on at a price. You can get a Alico. I bought 4 powerlifting bars. I bought like 4 Alico bars, maybe 2 or 3 powerlifting, and 1 or 2 weightlifting. Kept 1 for myself, and then sold them all on additionally. But I think got them for like 400 quid, and they've been used like 3 times or something. For a couple of sessions, and then sold them on. Sold 2 to Owen Hubbard, who's like a big deal in the powerlifting world. Drove all the way from Bristol, I think, to come and pick them up in a Toyota Yaris. Didn't think it was going to fit, but so we did good off getting kit off
the
things like that.
Random. It was just like random hustle.
I wish we could have got the London 2012 chalk bucket. Or the Commonwealth 2022 Birmingham.
We should have got a Birmingham thing actually.
Keep an eye out for it.
We should have got something from Birmingham. But picking those bars up is like. At the beginning, it was all about like just getting the best kit, being the best S&C gym. I think like we probably got our price points wrong at the start. We went too low and all that kind of stuff, and like we were trying to do too much in terms of classes and things like that. But the intention was right of like getting it well kitted out. And looking back, like I don't know, priorities maybe it wasn't the most sensible thing. Like when you've got no money, going down and buying Alico bars as the first thing you've bought, but it worked out right.
If you'd bought Wolverson weightlifting bars, which Wolverson are great, but if you'd bought like you wouldn't have got Cyril down, you wouldn't have got Joe. So we attracted a lot of good people.
It paid off.
And that created a reputation.
They've been used by like the best lifters in the world. Those bars that are in the gym now have been used by the best lifters in the world.
Exactly.
At 2012, like
both
London,
and here.
We've had some very good.
So let's look back then. So if we're looking back, MSC first day it opened. Talk me through that day.
Joe Blacker came down, and now he's back.
He mentioned because he told me the story about Cyril actually not so long ago. So what was that first opening day like? Talk me through it.
Mate, I loved it. It was just didn't know what to expect. Just like that little group of weightlifters that came down to like Aidan through KBT, Cyril, and it was class, mate.
Zoe Smith was down, I think. Was that on
the first day?
I don't know if that was day one actually, but yeah.
She definitely came down for a few nights with the KBT.
Yeah.
Mate, it was class. It was just like there was a lot going on. Probably again like just a bit like unorganised chaos, but it was class, man. I just got all these people down.
Yeah.
It was good. Like when you look back, we'll probably get onto this, but like didn't have a Facebook page, didn't have an Instagram page. I didn't even know what an Instagram page was.
I remember saying that to Mark. I was like, Mark, I've set us up a Facebook. He was like, oh, that's good.
I thought he'd reinvented the wheel. I was like, bloody hell, we've got our own page. So it's mad to actually think we had people come down. Really, like it was actually quite a lot on that open day. Like it was a good turnout. And it was an amazing day. The build up to it was like super stressful, like trying to get the place ready. I had like friends, family like painting the walls and just like getting it ready and stuff, everyone chipping in. And then we had the Saturday, and then I remember on the Monday I think we had 2 people come in all day, and it was like, oh fuck! I wasn't proper panicking, but I was also like,
shaking a bit. I'm not panicking, but I'm gonna shake.
I was panicking a little bit.
As well, like next door. Was this?
Well, that's the story.
It was a tricking.
How long have we got?
Facility.
How long have we got? So this was used.
Facility.
This was used by. There was a business that had this before that was a like free running type thing, but I don't think it was there for long. I could be wrong in that, but I don't think it was here for long. They left, so it was vacant for 6 months or a year or something like that. So it was just an empty warehouse, really, but it had like a big wall in the middle still from when they were doing all their tricks and stuff, running over walls and stuff, all that kind of jazz. And so I could probably get in trouble for saying this, but on the morning that I was supposed to get the keys, I got a call from the solicitor an hour before I was picking up the keys. So we had the launch date ready, everything like that, and got a phone call from the solicitor. He's like, so landlords have screwed us over a bit, found a loophole in the terms and conditions, and basically were like, right, we want so normally it's you get a rent-free period where you take on a building. Like normally it's 6 to 12 months, but like it could be 3 months, and we were supposed to have 6 months rent-free, and they basically went back on their word with that. So we had 0 months rent-free, so we had to pay like 12 grand deposit up front and be straight into like the rent from day one. I didn't have any money, so trying to figure out ways to beg, borrow and steal that, and then and they called our bluff a little bit, like they were trying to get us to back out or whatever. I had too much of it. Like we'd already bought equipment. I'd already promised jobs. I had Luke ready to go on the payroll, like everything like that. Everything was set up and ready, so we couldn't really back out, and they would have known that as well. We had too much, we had too much financial commitment. What was I going to do with 50-60 grand's worth of gym equipment? It's on the way, it's been shipped already. So I just had to bite the bullet on that one, and then got the keys, came down, and they'd already started painting lines on the floor to turn it into a car park. So they clearly thought we were going to back out. And so when we came in, it was basically like car park lines all over the floor and stuff like that. They were ready to screw us. But fuck them, we're still here.
Yeah, exactly, we're still here living.
And if they ever listen to this, that's not good actually, because they are still our landlords. So I probably shouldn't have said any of that.
Stupid brothers definitely listen to them.
They definitely, they definitely listen to that. Yeah.
So let's look back to some fun memories. Okay, I want you to put you two on the spot. Give me 2 or 3 of your favourite memories since MSC has been open. You've got a 10-year window to think of. So whilst you guys think about it, shall I talk about some of mine?
Yes.
I have had some very funny memories. I think from a positive thing, just to see some good athletes when the Indian weightlifting team were here, it was great to actually just watch them train. Especially Mirabai was an incredible athlete, isn't she? Yeah. And then from an entertaining perspective, I tell you what, I would probably put the 24-hour challenge up there.
That was class.
Just from to say we've done it, the weird mood we went throughout that whole night. It was just
drunk on fatigue.
I know you could just never replicate that. We've obviously had some great parties here and everything like that, and it's been very fun. But that was it was a different kind of entertaining and funny. We'd constantly look at each other, just being in the hole, what's going on?
Yeah.
So that's just a couple that spring to mind to me. Luke.
So from a personal one, when I was getting ready for the big pre-COVID 2019 was the big year when the English and the British getting ready for Euros as well. The support team I had around me and who trained with me that year was some of my favourite highlights. Getting after it, real hype gym, music turned up as loud as you can get it, really getting after it, training hard with about 5 or 10 different powerlifters. For me, that was probably some of my favourite years of training. I've been thinking about it a lot recently.
Yeah.
Just how you just couldn't fail in that environment. Everyone's working hard, everyone wants to support each other, everyone stops and stares when everyone's doing each of their own lifts. Just that atmosphere, you just can't fail. and there's no coincidence in that. That's the best year everyone had of powerlifting. So for me, that training environment was up there. Like, I was gonna say the parties and stuff like that have been class, but like the other ones that I think of is like when we have like minor celebrities coming down, like when we had the wrestlers come down. That was class. Like everyone's like so flabbergasted when they come. But also there was the time when again, it was 2019. It was 2019 was just for me like the peak of it. It was class. We had the guy from MSC I'm quite proud with message saying, "Do you mind if a few of the athletes come down and train?" I was like, "Yeah, man, bring them down." And like, just it was insane at the time. Like Ray Williams came down and deadlifted. Zavilis Cedricus came down. Big Z. The Stoltman brothers came down. Fucking Lou Richardson, like the best lifters in the world, all came down to MSC for a training session, and it was insane.
That's wild, actually. When you think about it. Eddie Hall's been down.
Eddie Hall.
So we've had three.
Strongest.
Have we had three of the world's
Eddie
strongest
Hall,
men here?
Big Z, and then
Tom Stoltman.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The Eddie Hall thing was
Eddie Hall was class,
Yeah.
Like we'll have to fish out the old videos, but like bicep curling, you and Gurdjieff.
Was that when he was still competing?
He came with the wrestlers as well. He came down with.
He just won, hadn't he?
So
he just won.
He was on the back of it.
So he was still at like the 200k mark. So he probably looked huge.
It was shortly after his win. I think it was in that period where like it hadn't come out on TV yet. But like
he won
he'd
2017, I think.
Didn't he? Mate, I'm terrible with years. Like I can't remember like years and stuff. But like
he was a celebrity, mate. He'd won. And he came down with the wrestlers.
He was good, man. He was a good guy. Like
they're doing a skit for like Sport Bible, I think it was.
Okay,
that's right.
Yeah, because there's a clip of him. I think maybe holding you. No,
mate. There was this weird one that I watched it back the other day, and I fucking hated it. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. I was wearing leggings, and do you remember they made me tie my top up so you could see my arse? And then they made me do this weird sketch where like I was doing RDLs with like my top tied up, and he's like, "Oh, I hate it when guys are wearing." There's like a weird sketch. So I'm doing all this like, "Oh, I hate it when guys are wearing like leggings in the gym and you can just see everything." And then they turn around and laugh at me, and I was like, I just didn't get what was going on. That definitely
didn't get posted. So
I didn't get it on Sport Bible, but it's horrible watching back, Mark. I didn't like it. Most of the other ones are great. It's like the bicep curling when he drops us and laughs. He's class. It was a weird one that was.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, those are cool memories, man. Like having all those down. Kim Wolford came down as well. He's like one of the best female powerlifters ever. She came down and trained, and like just watching everyone's face when you see all these people in this class.
I think that Clarence obviously wasn't too long ago.
Clarence Kennedy came down.
That's quite cool. Yeah.
Mate, Clem Pendley's been down, mate. We've had I can't remember the name of the guy, but it's like the fastest 60-meter athlete in the world, the Chinese sprinter. Like first Asian athlete to go under 10 seconds for the 100, and he's like over 60. He's like the best in the world at the time. It's been some unreal athletes.
You can't use the athletes one now. You got to think.
Man, that's tough. It's really hard, honestly. And I'm not just saying that, but like over 10 years, it's all kind of just merged into one, and like it feels on one hand it's been a long time, and on the other hand it feels like we're just starting still. Like it's weird. I'd say like things that stand out were like probably the athlete stuff, but I'd say recent ones would be the charity challenge has been awesome, the 24-hour and the 3 peaks. I know the 3 peaks was technically outside of the gym, but if I can count that, like that was just a class thing to like go and do, and to raise all this money with the community we've got. I think just shows that the strength and power of community, and if you get things right within it, you can do more good across the board. I think that's been quite cool. 24-hour challenge. 24-hour challenge. Actually, if we're talking about in the gym, I think 3 peaks is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and it was so good. The 3 of us doing it, like it's just such amazing memories. Like so many laughs. Like great accomplishment. The fact that we got stuck in traffic, motorway was closed, the weather was absolutely horrendous.
Couldn't write it.
I thought I pulled hamstring on the way up, but it was a bit of cramp, and it was like, and we finished with 9 minutes remaining. Like it was
people
just
think
ridiculous.
We faked that, but
it was ridiculous.
Because we haven't really spoke about it that much, have we? On
people can think what they want, but it was fucking brutal, mate. Yeah. And the 24-hour challenge was class actually for the laughs that we had on it, but also, again, like going back to community, and it might sound a bit cheesy or whatever, but like there wasn't a single hour in the 24 hours where we were by ourselves. I think at 2-3 a.m. there was probably like 30-40 people in the gym,
all dancing to Bugs Bunny. Do you remember?
All dancing to
Bad Bunny, no.
Bugs Bunny or something, like, you know. Like, and we were training, man. Like, we trained hard in the 24 hours. Like, we weren't dicking around. But like, it, like, just to have that kind of support, there wasn't a single hour in the 24 hours where we were on our own. And I think that was like an amazing moment to be like, wow, this is, I remember thinking at the time, this is pretty cool. Like, the fact that it's 3 a.m, you got 30 people down here cheering you on, like, supporting you. That was cool. So like those recent ones are really, really good. And then like, I think probably a couple of years ago there was a social night out, on a night out after a Metcon Games, and I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was just, I remember it was just like the perfect day with the Metcon Games, the perfect night. There must have been like 50 people there on the night out, and like I remember
which place?
It was Albert Schloss, but like I can't remember exactly which one it was. It might have been Halloween or summer. Or
Is the one where you
I
were
can't
like,
remember.
we're not going to book, we're just going to turn up at like 7.
We're just going to turn up early, yeah. And it just it was just such a good night, like such a buzz. Everyone was in such a good place, and that's again probably one. I don't have many of those moments. I'm not very good at like taking things in the present. Like I'm terrible for thinking ahead all the time. But that was one small moment where I was like looking around. I was like, this is awesome. Like everyone loves MSC that's here. Like everyone's getting on, etc. Yeah, I think like those are probably I'm probably missing something, but they're the things that come to mind.
I feel like you can really do that tomorrow. I feel like tomorrow is a good day for you to just.
Whenever we're having our meal, we can exchange war stories.
Yes. Indeed. Yes.
I think there's some
so there's a couple of good ones. Yeah.
Okay, then let's go in the other way now. Looking back across the 10 years, what have you learned most from setting up a gym business that people might listen to this who potentially want to go down that line, that you have learned information-wise that you would potentially pass on to other people? So, for example, you mentioned you did too much.
Mine is straight off the start is streamline and think about what you specialise in, what's your kind of niche areas, and 100% hone in on that, because I think we had the right idea. We had, at one point we had like a fucking strength and conditioning club, we had a powerlifting club, we had a weightlifting club, we had a mobility session, and then at one point I just said to you, I was like, well, what are we doing here? Why don't we just set up a barbell club session, and it's just all of the movements in one? But at the time we were doing like 5 or 6 different things, rather than just being like, we are class at getting people stronger, we're great at the conditioning stuff, this is what we're going to do, we're going to hone in 100% on that, rather than it be too many things diluted down. We had a couple of people turn up for one thing or another. I want weightlifting, I do this. We were just great intentions, but you got to choose what you're good at, what your niche is, what you want to hone in at as your skill set, and double down on it.
You'd rather be perfect at the one thing than average at all of them.
Well, it's like you don't want to say, we've got 10 different sessions. And it's just, it's confusing for them, it's confusing for us, it's confusing for everyone. But if you just have, have you ever been to Bunsen in Ireland? It's a burger place. I think we've been, haven't we? They do 2 burgers, and it's like you have a cheeseburger or a beef burger, and it's fucking class, man. It's class. It's like the menus on the card is like, we do 2 things, we do really well. So I think like now you say MSC will class the offer. We do Metcon if you want to get fitter, if you do want to get stronger, we've got Barbell Club. There's more to it than that, but like you double down on what's really good.
It reminds me of one in Italy as well. There's a pizza restaurant there in Naples, like where it's like 2 pizzas, it's like a margarita, and there's a margarita with a bit of like basil on it. Like but they're known as being the best pizza in the world, and it's like we have a short menu. It's like fine dining and stuff. Small menu. This is what we do.
It's the Netflix problem, man. When you've got like a million things, and you end up just watching The Office again every night instead of being you've got channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Like, I'm going to choose one of the films to watch. So I would say double down on what you're good at.
Okay. That's good.
So the question was like biggest learnings, like the sort of how to do this. I would say I'd agree completely with Luke that probably the first one. Second one might be like just the importance of it's a really boring one, but like the importance of scheduling, like importance of your timetable, the importance of time, like systems being organised. So like getting systems in place makes just the biggest difference. I know that's the generic, boring, like entrepreneurial answer, but it really is true. Like just having good systems in place, good software that will do the right job, and if this counts as the same sort of thing, like within yourself as well. Like, because in business, like there's so if we didn't need sleep, I could work 24 hours a day every single day, and there's something to do. You know, you got operations, you got marketing, you got finances, you got sales, you got a million things within all of those things as well. And for someone like myself who's, I don't know, I guess self-diagnosed, like bit of a scatbrain, like borderline, thinking of like anxiety, I guess, like a bit of anxiety ridden in terms of like future, all this sort of stuff, and I've got so many different things to do and all that kind of stuff. You can get so lost in like having a million things to do and paralysis by analysis, as they say, like too many things going on, and you end up doing nothing. And I think there was probably a lot of stages in that first year, 18 months, where I was working 16-hour days, but on a lot of them not actually getting a lot done, because you think you are, but it's like you're just checking the emails again, or you're checking how many likes you've got again. But because there's so many things to do, it's so easy to get overwhelmed by that and just get lost in it all. So I think like narrowing down blocks of time, splitting these tasks into like hour blocks, 2 hour blocks, so it's like, right, for this next hour I'm working on marketing, like nothing else matters. That bill that's been sent by HMRC for £2,000 doesn't matter right now. Like the sales don't matter, the classes don't matter, the operations don't matter at all. It's like, right, for an hour I'm knuckling down on marketing. So I'd say like systems and like, sort of organising your own personal calendar and things like that. Still things we're working on, but a hell of a lot better than they were at the start.
The other one I think about is like having, like, obviously getting people in that are as passionate about it as you are, because I think at the start, like, the members of staff, like Josh was super passionate, I was passionate about it, you were passionate, that was the team, and it was class. Like we all believed in it, we all wanted to do this, we all came from different backgrounds. Josh was CrossFit, I was obviously commercial, we all wanted to really push this. And then the next one's Gurdev, Hendrik, they just lived and breathed strength conditioning. They loved MSC, and I think it succeeded because of that. And then you think like Sonia, she's got a tattoo of it. Like she's just obsessed. Well, there might be more of them from this weekend, but Sonia was obsessed with the place. And I think like early doors when like that's super important. Yeah, I've been to a couple of places, and like you can just tell if they like it or not, or if they care or not. And you go in, like they're just kind of like,
there's a difference between going through the motions and actually being like.
And I think early doors, if we weren't super passionate about it and believed in it 100%, so like I was getting after it training, you were getting after it training, this was the place to be, and we created that.
And training hard, putting kit away, look at like cleaning the place, man, we cleaned it, like you and I cleaned every day for the first 3 or 4 years, every single day, showers every single day.
If we just was like, oh man, like it's cool gym, it's alright, get after, go and train, we'd never have succeeded, because we had the right people in that believed in it. I think that's probably
the one. And linking back to my one, like, you're not going to have systems and operations at the start, so you do have to get by on what Luke's just said there.
And love.
Like it was just pure passion and hard work and trial and error, making mistakes and just learning from them and correcting them, like over and over and over again. Mistakes in terms of like the way we're running things, or mistakes in terms of the software, mistakes in terms of not having our finances in order, which got us in a lot of trouble at the beginning. And you build the systems over time. But Luke's absolutely right with that one, where you need to be, and you need people to be more than invested. You need to be
teach passion, can you? Like you either have it or you don't. That's why the business succeeds. You guys have that passion.
But all them people that I just mentioned, every single one started as an intern. A voluntary intern.
Because we couldn't afford to pay people.
They were doing
we couldn't afford to pay anyone.
And they just wanted to be a part of it. So Gerda was doing his studies. Like, I really want to be a part. Sonny worked for, like, I need the experience, and I love this gym. I want to be a part of it. Hendrik was the same, and they've all gone on now to do sick stuff. Like they're all doing phenomenal in their roles, but they all started off as that because they loved it, and then we got them in, and then they went on to be like class members of staff. The one mistake they make is like
Alga was Cheney.
Again, like started
voluntary work. To begin with, Mate, these guys would all.
I was going to say, like, we talked about like the systems. Like now we have, we've never been busier. You would never put 2 people on a shift at one time. On a Tuesday night, me, Gurdev and Hendrik worked and ran the Metcon. There's 3 of us, 5 till 9, because we had the American football, women's American football team in, and we had 1 Metcon.
It's the best intention. And I'm looking at the accounts at the end of the month thinking, hang on a minute, why are we losing 10 grand a month? Like, how's this working? But we're having a great time.
It was my favourite shit.
Great time.
Gurdev would come in, he'd bring 3 cappuccinos at like 5 p.m. He'd have some silly video that he'd want you to watch, and I'd be like, okay, let's get ready for Metcon. And we set the Metcon. And then 3 of us running this American football. It was class.
But then the delivery was class. That built the reputation and bought you time, or bought us time to build systems and operations. But like the first thing was actually delivering the goods on the dance
what we
floor.
did was sick, man. Like I said, we were doing weightlifting club thingy, but like it was all class stuff. It was all good stuff.
Passion's a huge thing. I think that's probably such a good point that you made. That, like,
mate, all those guys would all those guys would text on the days off. Like, I've got this idea. I thought of this.
Yeah.
Like, it was looking back, it was unreal. That side of things.
Right, let's bring this podcast to a nice little end. I want you to both think, if you could sum up your 10-year experience at MSC in 3 words, what 3 words would you choose?
I'm going to sum it up, but I'm going to go for sentences first. Okay. I'm going to say, Mark, thank you very much for the opportunity, because it's been the best 10 years of my life, and it's been I've achieved more in my life than I ever thought I would do, and I've gone on to do some amazing stuff all through MSC, but then gone on to do like the powerlifting stuff, being part of the coaching team, and all these opportunities that have come up have come from MSC. So I just want to say,
mate, thank you very much. That means a lot.
I'm getting emotional. I think back, like I was at Bantimes, I would have been happy earning a very moderate amount of money. I've never been about the money, but I would do a moderate amount of money, get my head down and getting work. But the opportunities that have come up in my life, I've travelled the world. I've worked with some unreal athletes at MSC. I have fun every time I come to work. Not every day, but like in the grand scheme of it, I love coming to work, and I love what we've built, man. And I'm not financially involved, but I feel like this is my place. I treat it like it's my place, and it's a pleasure to be a part of. Wow. Sorry, I'm going to jump out. Tear in my eye.
That's very nice. Very nice. No, thank you very much, Lee. Very kind words, and. It's nice. It's tough. It's a tough gig. Like, this is not easy. Like, I think the members out there see you delivering the classes and having a good time with them. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that can make it difficult, and there's been some super tough times. Like, especially in the beginning, like the amount of times we nearly closed down in that first 2 years.
Every time I got paid,
we lost money every month. We lost money. I used to I was extending my own personal overdraft, putting that into the business so I could pay Luke, so I could pay Jackie, and it was wild.
We originally getting paid on the 25th, and then it got pushed back to the 5th, and then I remember once it got to about the 20th, and I was like, "Oh God, there we go! I'm gonna skip a month at some point." And then
I was applying for more loans so that I could pay the guys, and it just got I didn't pay myself for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
It was mental, mate. Yeah. So I was doing a bit of PT a lot. I was trying to run the gym, but also doing as much PT as I could on the side, using that to pay the bills, but more often than not put it back into the business. It's like a circle. Put it back into the business to have enough money to pay the staff, to go again. It was brutal first couple of years, but it's all been great. And thank you to Luke as well for being there since day one. And I have to say, I mean, it wouldn't have been possible to get this far without him. And I think he knows that, but it's nice to say it. And I think probably something I should do a bit more of with him and with the rest of the guys as well. But it's been in the trenches since day one. So massively appreciate everything you've done. And we wouldn't have made it. So without him. So. It's going back to the three words. Exhausting, rewarding, and incredible.
I'll go opportunities, proud. I only know 2 words.
That's all right.
Honest.
There we go.
Honest work.
And I think that's a great place to finish there. Gents, it's been an absolute honour to interview you both. What you've cemented here is incredible, and the community is so happy that you guys have put this in place, and I'm sure you will go on to do amazing and incredible things. So please, guys, like and subscribe this podcast. The more exposure we get, the better, and we look forward to an incredible Metcon Games and a social on the night. Please pop down for a beer or a lemonade, completely up to you guys, and we will hear from you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oh.